Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to break.
This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much. I've missed you now, but I'm also very grateful to Miss Catherine Tyson, our very colleague here, Miss Kathy Miller, and OC for sitting in for the last bit while I got to do some other things. But I want you to share with me, share the love, make me feel welcome. But I want to talk to you about it, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And it's Tuesday. We celebrated a very meaningful holiday yesterday. Lest we forget. So let's always remember that ultimate service and sacrifice. Anyway, thank you, for sharing the love while I was off. For those who reached out, I took some time to get some things done. No, I did not cause the political rift that you see. Okay, let Joel Wilson tell you otherwise. That wasn't me. I think I'll play the Shaggy song later. But I say that to say that we have some open line, between now and 1 o'clock. I want to thank the wonderful team members in our amazing public service who yielded their time in light of the deference that we have for the parliamentary process. We thought it would be most appropriate, even though we schedule in order to accommodate the importance of our topics and the personnel that are involved, we schedule sometimes months in advance to give people time to prepare, to do the appropriate research, to source the personnel and the like. But very few, if any, of us in the public domain knew that this would unfold or would unfold now or in the way it is. And given the importance of it to our democracy, I'm hoping that you're listening, to our sister station, Breeze FM, and the simulcast on CIG TV, and following along with our parliamentarians as they are in the House of Parliament. This is important as part of a democracy. But wait, tell us what you've seen. I don't have it on the screen, and if I did, I wouldn't want to be distracted when trying to watch that. So if you can, be my eyes and ears, share with me what you've seen. Share with me what you thinking might happen. Tell me what you think about what is happening. Is this just democracy at work? Is this the importance of, being engaged and involved? We saw the UK in short order, change their prime ministers almost as much as some was, change their shirts in no time at all. They went from one to the next to the other. Is this part of that Westminster model? Is it, as some have shared with some trepidation, is this a sign of political instability? Is this political wrangling for a power grab? Is this a demonstration of some who say, wait a minute, leadership isn't effective, isn't doing what the public needs? Or is it as some who said, hey, hold a minute, you just want to get where I am to get what I got? Share with me. 949-8037 is the number I'm told isn't working. So 949-6990. That's 6 to 9. Camaro, not the SS, the RS. That's the one I used to like. Maybe one day, we have dreams that inspire, to allow us to aspire to great things and motivate us. Some of us it's a boat and a car, and others it's some things. And not the materialism is just a possession of something that allows a bit of a legacy, that sentimental value. Well, the 69 Camaro RS. Wow, that's a nice car. Isn't it, Paul? Isn't it? In what color? Ooh. What do you say, can't operate? What? Say it loud in public, man. Let the people tell you.
Yeah, red one, man.
Red, no, man. Red fades in the sun, man. A nice, beautiful midnight blue. Yeah, there you go. Well, I do like cars, Anyway, we can talk about that if you want. But it is the thing, and that is the thing. So share with us as you wish. It is open line. So 949-6990. That's the number. That's how we got today. 69 Camaro RS. 949-6990. Or the WhatsApp number. 925-3261. You can call it. You can WhatsApp it. If you see Dana ringing, we'll answer it, and you can share your thoughts with us. I know I was absent for a while, so I hope it's not like that country song. Other side, other mind. Or is it absence makes the heart grow fonder? Or what that country song said? It's better to be gone and not forgotten than to be forgotten and not gone. Again, thanks to Kathy and Miss Catherine Tyson Sewell and OC for sitting in. Thanks to Miss Norman and Miss Paulette for allowing me to take away. I could do some studying while I was off. I could participate in some of the activities. I don't think that it was in a great rest and relaxation. But nonetheless, it was good. And it was bittersweet because I missed you guys, man. I honestly did. All right, so I'm open line until now and 1 p.m. at the very least. Again, thanks to our team members across the public service who were slated to come in to talk about a most important topic. We will reschedule them. It just shows that even though they braved the rain and, like me, risk getting our hair wet, they were in the studio, assembled, on time, as our fathers set the example. When I hear about came on time, it kind of upsetting because we now show a disrespect for their entrenched practice. They told you 12 o'clock. It wasn't 12:01. It wasn't even 11:59. And they were at least 10, 15 minutes, in some cases much earlier. That was the respect that they had. But they would say, I'm sure you heard it. I heard it often. No matter your wealth, you can't buy a second. You cannot ring the bell. Once time is gone, time is gone. It passed. That's it. Yesterday is, well, that's it. It's gone. Tomorrow, you may or may not be a part of it. You plan, prepare for it. You save for a rainy day. You do all these things. But at the end of the day, you are, respectful of the time before us. So share with me. What is on your mind? 949-6990. Or the WhatsApp number, 925-3261. Let me write it down just to make sure that I have it in front of me. 925-3261. Is that it, Mr. Paul? All right. I know some of us have shared a few times in the public domain and many times over the last few weeks while I was not, physically present in front of the mic. Managed to find myself a couple of times in the studio doing little things that needed to be done that I couldn't do remotely, that I prefer to have done, sitting as I did by the desk right in front of the computer in my comfortable chair. Yeah, public money well spent. But you have shared, what is happening with our politics? Why is always this bickering? And why is it this? And some of it is because we don't necessarily feel that we're sufficiently informed or informed in a sufficient way, in a timely way. And when some hear things, they go, but how come that one knows and this one doesn't? shouldn't this all be in the public domain? And one individual in particular said, well, when it comes to, us sharing information, how do we do it? Well, on a personal level, and I'll take guidance if it's inappropriate, honored that through Radio Cayman we can extend to you a voice. We can help to amplify your voice. We can ensure that there's equal and as much as possible unfettered access to be able to engage, to dialogue. And for us, it is money that funds Radio Cayman that comes from, the taxes, the fees, whatever it is that our government charges, allocates to its budget to keep it running. But it's for the people. It should not, and at least in my mind, it is not a mouthpiece for the government. That propaganda machine that we see in many countries, not just those that we ascribe as being communist or some other derogatory term that we, may assign. It is that thing that ensures a healthy democracy because people have a way that is not so restricted to be able to share. Take, for instance, very, very evident when there is a natural disaster. Radio Cayman is functioning. Its information is timely, it's accurate, it's responsible. It is shared in such a way that, as best as possible, is sensitive to whatever is transpiring. There may be something that has happened in the community and that everybody seems to know about what it is, but we, I think, appropriately, professionally, respectfully, ensure that whatever information is conveyed through our channels are enough to speak to the issue if it needs to be, but not enough to be insulting or demeaning or unprofessional. Now, you can look across media the globe over and see that maybe that thing that was once said that seems to become the mantra of today perhaps needs to be revisited. If it bleeds, it leads. Well, should it be that way? The other thing that is important is that we as a people engage as a populace, and in particular as voters, that we become informed and involved in what is happening. If we look at what is now before our House of Parliament, we may think that we understand what is happening. We may come to realize that we're not quite sure. How does this play out? What if this happens? How will it happen if this happens? It's not that we all should be experts in everything, but are there sufficient numbers of us who know, who can share the information? And even when we hear it, are we confident? Are we competent enough to be able to say, well, why is it that way? What about this? And engage in that discussion. We're going to pause and take our first break. We're going to invite you to be the first caller, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. If you're out and about and enjoying the rain, well, do so, but do so safely. If you're driving, be a little bit more careful. If you're running or walking across the parking lot, and other than, where little splashes of water that may get them fall, just be careful. You don't slip and fall. I believe, better late than never. Someone who unfortunately say better never than late. So be careful. If you're going where you go and you're a little bit late and the person can't be understanding, accommodating, you know what? Just smile and wish them well. That's my thought. All right, as our phone rings, we got to take a break, but we'll join you right after. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care. close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And thank you for the person who's calling and the person who shares. Well, let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey there, Mr. Sterling. How are you today?
I am wonderful, man. I am very thankful in my endeavors to not only be grateful but gracious, man. How are you?
Oh, not bad. Tell me something. Is this the Caymans or is it Cayman?
You tell me, bro. You tell me.
Well, I say welcome back to.
Yes. Thank you.
But are we going to work together for the good of the people?
I think so, man. What do you think? I think we will. I think we are. I think we're going to. What do you think, man?
I think so.
Yeah, man. All right.
I mean, we got that ability.
Definitely, man.
But how you doing? How was your vacation and everything else?
Well, thank you for asking. I mean, I was, for the most part, physically absent from the physical building, and that's about it. I was driving one day from one, endeavor to the next, and Catherine was on, and she said, "Stop messaging me. Enjoy your time off. You're booking guests." But that's hopefully not just some sort of an indication of what I believe is a strong work ethic. Certainly an example I'm trying to follow from those around me. But it's the love and the respect for the job, the importance of things being attended to in a timely manner. Being away, from actual the microphone and the desk is important for anybody to have a little bit of time off. I know from the audit perspective in many organizations, in particular financial services, they require that you take a minimum of time, and that's partly because they want to be able to come to your desk and look at what you're doing to make sure you're doing it properly. You're not doing what you're not supposed to be doing, like taking money or other corrupt practices. I only share that to say that I look at that and I wonder, where that mindset comes from. And it's in stark contrast, and you tell me what you think, right, to a practice in some other countries, the Nordic countries in particular, where they, by law, say you are entitled, if I understand the translation of those countries for whom the language of first instance is in English, you are entitled. And this is a word that's used in a positive way, unlike another way we use it here, to take, if you have 4 weeks vacation, you can take it all one time, right? Because we want you to recharge. We want you to be able to unwind and sort of get back to a better space. Now, check it out, right? Your organizations, they insist you got to take a minimum time so they can do what they got to do to make sure you're not doing what you're not supposed to be doing. But they tell you can't take more than this amount of time at one point because, we could be short. So what do you think about that two perspective, and not just you listening, but you in general who may want to weigh in? But Mr. Brown, what do you think?
Well, you know what I think, Mr. Sterling?
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to get a nice little bicycle.
So what I'm hearing you say is you're going to be willing to offer and buy me one for Christmas? Well, thank you, man. He's a good man.
We're going to see if we can raise some funds to get a bicycle for you, nice straw hat and stuff like that, nice little island guy shirt. And,
wow.
Just cruise around and stuff like that, enjoy yourself as a island guy in the Cayman.
In the Cayman. Yeah, Juan, listen, I miss riding my bicycle. I tell you what, though, and I mean, this is unfortunate, and this isn't a sign of progress. If anything, it's the opposite, but I stopped riding because of the dogs that would chase you, and not just you go to one or two places, that dog was you'll just do that. But for some reason we got a mix of dogs now that they grab onto you, they don't let go. But it's also the people who are driving and other road users. They have no respect for anybody on the road. And the last venture out on a bike was terrifying. Riding around South Sound, I don't know, man. There were some words come to mind that maybe I shouldn't, repeat, but maybe I should. Drivers are very, very inconsiderate. They're careless and senseless. They're disrespectful. They see you walking, running, and riding, and they want to run you over.
I say, Mr. Sterling, have you heard about the Caymanian man? Did the dog bite him, bit him, or bite him, and he bite the dog back? I don't know if you heard about that man.
I think that's a story we all laugh at when we hear. Yeah. But it's also, I think, an indication of timing where we're no longer looking at things in a way, and the golden rule has been significantly, reimagined, as it were. Boy, what else you want to share with me? I always appreciate your input. What else you want to talk? What else you want to ask?
Well, I'd say I think we need to look at life as Caymanans who want to excel together. We excel toward better, excellent. And not just good, not just better, but I mean
exactly. Well, I'm hoping that as people hear you say that, they will recognize that division, discord, and disharmony is what is dividing and causing much to, not just be discontented, but people are now, they're losing perspective. And it's not just in politics for whatever reason, it's in our personal relations, from families to our businesses to our communities. And your call for unity echoes, what I've been saying. So thank you for joining me, and maybe through that, we'll find a way to come together, man. Thanks very much, Mr. B.
All right. Okay, sir.
All the best, man. Enjoy the rain. All right. Let's pause quickly, and when we come back, more talk today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
It is that time of the year when we at Puritan Cleaners remind our customers of the services we offer on drapes and all household items. Standard prepaid discounts apply. Call us today at 949-7104, Georgetown and Savannah Countryside. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
All right. Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity once again to be able to get to our scheduled discussion in relation to education. And Mr. Amanda Roberts, you and your team at Normandy, you remind us of not just what we have here, but how we can continue to partner so that our children can have increased access to almost endless education opportunities.
Indeed we do, and I think that's the main part of it, is to showcase what's out there. We've got some really smart children on island. We've got some really great athletes, and some of them maybe could take it a step further, go out and into the bigger, wider world of and other schools out overseas, great boarding schools, and then bring back those skills to the island as well for the future.
And that's part of the whole, notion at the end of the day as we look at education and then here me trying to look at this brochure without my glasses. It's not going to work, man. At least I have a good memory and good eyes. But I say that too. I was just thinking when I first thumbed through it, the idea that it isn't about presenting something, it's about representing in a sense. And as Ms. Amanda, as you shared, the notion that we get information and knowledge, skills and experience and expertise, and we bring it back and we enrich ourselves, but we enrich our communities. I think to our forefathers, they go, by boat. Some not even, in their teens yet. It's a catboat and a schooner. Later on, it's a bigger vessel, whether they're plying oil or otherwise. They travel the high seas and they gain knowledge. With that, Ms. Jill, no pressure, but as we invite Mr. Clapper from One Verde Academy to join us, it is said often that education isn't only an equalizer, it's empowering. Has that, in your view, become a cliche? What's your perspective on that sentiment?
I believe you're accurate. There is definitely not only the need to invest in education, but to find out what your part in the world is. When you have limited resources in some of the educational institutions or a smaller view on the world, sometimes it's hard to see where do you fit in and how can you contribute.
Yeah.
So by experiencing other cultures, other religions, politics, meeting other people from around the world, you can expand your own horizons and start setting new paths and goals. And Montverde Academy is really special by having the diverse curriculum and the diversities in its people alone. The Academy represents over 60 different countries and 90 different nationalities.
And I would very much love us to talk about that, because they say education will be expensive, but they say, well, try ignorance. And I wonder to what extent, as you just alluded to, that we may only see education from the perspective of pen and paper, that's something that we possess, as opposed to other things that we get. You referenced the different nationalities, the interaction with people from different ethnicities, culture, economics. We understand that interaction with just food. We can learn so much. Unfortunately, and I'm certainly guided by it, but we've allowed so many words to become just batted about without any meaning. Tolerance, inclusion are two words that immediately come to mind. There were things that we did without even thinking about it, but now there's a big PR and marketing campaign about it too. But maybe there's less tolerance and less inclusion because we're promoting it so much and we lost its significance. But your endeavor to attract students across the globe, and what a short Cayman Airways flight away makes it easy, huh? Yes. Tell us about not just the programs, but the campus. I mean, what is it like, the setting? I mean, give us a perspective for those who may not know.
Sure. So we're an extensive outdoor campus ranging across about 130 acres. All of our soccer fields, tennis, lacrosse, track and field, it's all outdoors on a beautiful lake, Lake Florence. We also are very blessed to have a very small town next to us that has local businesses that our students are able to participate in. But it is a Spanish-style setting. We have a central part of campus that we refer to as the Loop that has all of the academics on it. So the students get a college-based experience by transitioning between buildings and having designated areas across campus for certain educational learning. So that means that we have buildings that are dedicated to the arts. So music, dance, theater production. These are students that want to go to SCAD, Juilliard, production, movies, films, Broadway. We also have a brand new building called the Innovation Center, which is we've partnered with EA Sports Gaming, so FIFA and Madden and all that kind of stuff to talk about development and game designs and stuff like that. We also have engineering studios for physics, and students get to weld and build in robotics, build drones. And then we even have a diverse science center that allows for biology and chemistry and forensic science and kinesiologies on top of just the standard academics.
Kind of want to make you want to go back to school with
I
someone.
know. The courses that they can do now are absolutely incredible. I always tell the students when they come into me and they're looking at school and they say, well, that looks nice. I said, well, just dig into the curriculum, the course guidebook on the curriculum, and just see what comes under, the tabs for each department heading, and you will just see these amazing courses, like Jill said, forensic science, and all the things like when you watch CSI Miami and NCIS, you can actually learn that in school now to do those things, which is incredible, and human anatomy and amazing courses.
And as Jill, as you were sharing, I'm thinking back sometimes too that maybe as a student we had a perspective, but even maybe as a parent way back when me and Miss Amanda were younger.
Way back.
Way back. I didn't want to say way back. We, and I'll be guided by you, we may have pigeonholed certain children. Okay, you'll probably be good in this area, but now from what you shared, you're allowing students to explore. They don't have to just be relegated to some label. They don't have to be confined to one particular type of learning. They could explore, and they can get the science and the arts. They can enjoy the sports, potentially professionally, that they may lead to a career, or just socially, giving them the physical activity. From what you shared, I have a quick perspective that we are bringing that student to a full sense of learning.
So one of the fun things about the curriculum is that it does allow them to experience not only interests but passions. Mm-hmm. So if a student really loves watching crime scene investigation and they think, I want to be a criminal investigator, but what does that actually entail? So it goes a lot further than just taking a science class, because now you're looking at not only evidentiary support and looking at what does a crime scene look like. When you walk in, what do you have to preserve to keep evidence? But why are you doing it? Mm-hmm. One, you need to do it from a law perspective. So if you wanted to go into law for criminology, you have to be able to defend or prosecute. So you're looking at what do you need from that evidentiary support. Yeah. From a science perspective, if you're looking at going into it for, DNA sampling and just what happened and doing the who did it, how to find that evidence. But if you're a nurse or somebody wanting to go into a medical field, you're looking at it from the perspective if this individual ends up on a gurney in the OR, how did they sustain the injury? What was injured? And how would you go about treating the patient? Mm. So it takes a look and it broadens the perspective and the horizon for the student. But then once they see that passion and they find the drive, we've partnered with 2 major universities and 2 state schools in the state, so they can actually start taking college courses towards those long-term goals too.
Is it okay to ask which 2 in particular? Which of the 2 state schools in Florida that you partner with?
So the colleges or the universities that we're partnering with are the University of Florida, Northwestern State College, Southern Florida University, and Lake Sumter State College.
Yeah. And looking at the limited knowledge of my geography of that area, they're not that far away in a sense from where your campus.
So Sumter is very close. Everything else would be done virtually.
Yeah. And the reason why I ask that is that motivating factor sometimes for someone to be able to physically engage, but to know that it's accessible, may just spur them on to continue studies. Mm-hmm. But it's something that's of interest to Ms. Amanda as we listen to Jill. We are wanting to become informed consumers. Mm-hmm. And as we watch television now, I make no bones about it. I don't get as much pleasure these days as I do. I always enjoy my book. But if that thing that is coming through on the screen isn't accurate, and then you as a student watching it, it may help eventually that you may become a creative writer for that. You may want, as a consumer, that thing that's being presented is accurate. It doesn't have to be something that transpired historically, but it needs to be scientifically, physically accurate, so that information is factual. And that informed consumer makes the entertainment much better.
I know when Adam and I are watching the telly and he starts shouting when all the law things come up there. That's not right.
That is exactly. And it's not just about cross-jurisdictional. So the difference is you see this and this thing as a young impressionable mind. You may think that this is how it works, but in reality it isn't. And real life sometimes is more fun. At least I think so.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, oh, yes. But from your perspective, and we'll take a break at 1 for the news. We will come back for a few minutes later and continue speaking to not just the events that unfold, but what do you want to share with our listeners? Because this is a good time to be alive, despite the Bill Gates in the world.
There's, I think, kids have had it tough through the COVID years, and I think we're coming out the other side now, I hope. But there's, I think the world has changed a bit, and we're a lot more sort of want to do different things a bit, because I think because we had that constrained period when our whole lives changed as well, that these new opportunities are really exciting the students now. They feel they can go overseas, and their parents are happier now that it's safe for them to go overseas in terms of getting back home again, other than when it was in COVID and we couldn't really travel and things, so it made it very difficult. So I think these opportunities are now exciting, and when you see schools where they have these courses that can motivate students who perhaps not done so well after COVID, that motivate them to get back into the groove of learning and gaining this wonderful information and insight into a changing world, really. And I think that's a lot of it is doing courses that meet the changes that are coming.
Right. And I think more than ever, it's important that we bring people together physically, because we've been so imprisoned physically and mentally, right, Ms. Jill?
Absolutely.
All right. Paul, are we ready for that break, my friend? And, wow, good. Hi.
You're early for once.
Yeah. So you can note that on my appraisal. He was paying attention. No, but that's the beauty of what we're doing. And from your perspective, Jill, it's not just about recruitment and retention. It's about, bringing together people who span, the bridges.
Yes. And it's also about, not only providing that opportunity, but to make sure that the families understand that their investment is worth their time. To really understand that what they're doing is giving their students the best possible success into getting into their universities and colleges of their choices, and having those opportunities to go further than we could have. Yeah.
And what better way to start now? So there are some events unfolding, Ms. Jill?
Yes. Tonight there's the Betty Walker Fair, which has a whole range of boarding schools coming in, including Montverde Academy. They'll be there tonight. But tomorrow at the Loft, we've got an event where Montverde will be Jill will be doing her presentation and a reception at 6:30 at the Loft. So you can RSVP to me, 936-3676, or RSVP tonight at the fair with Jill, ready for tomorrow's event.
Okay, and the fair this evening, for those who are looking at, tomorrow is a one-on-one presentation to be able to understand more. We're investing in our children's education, and with that, he says, take the break now, let's go to the news, we're all good. Well, when I come back, maybe I can find out what's the age group to go back to school for this. So join us after the break. Stay tuned.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. On Sunday, November 19th, the Family Resource Centre will be joining countries around the world to mark the 12th annual International Men's Day celebrations in the Cayman Islands. International Men's Day commemorates the positive contributions men make to the world, their families and communities, while highlighting men's and boys' well-being. For more information on IMD, to purchase shirts or to register for any of the events, contact the FRC directly on 949-0006 or frc@gov.ky. In international news, Israel is facing mounting international pressure to protect civilians trapped in Gaza's hospitals as it released what it said was evidence of a Hamas base in one medical facility. U.S. President Joe Biden said that Al-Shifa Hospital must be protected from intense fighting around the complex. His comments came as Israel released video of what it said was a Hamas hideout under the Rantisi Hospital. It accuses Hamas of using hospitals to hide military bases, but Hamas denies this. A man has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter over the death of ice hockey player Adam Johnson, whose neck was cut during a match. The Nottingham Panthers player was hit in the neck by the skate of a member of the Sheffield Steelers during the fixture on October 28th. The 29-year-old was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A post-mortem examination confirmed he died as a result of a fatal neck injury, South Yorkshire Police said. The force said detectives arrested the suspect on Tuesday, adding that he remained in custody. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's Experienced Women's Health and Maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 25th of September 1939, Henry Mansfield Connolly was the third of 8 children for Henry Kitchener and Olive Connolly, an experienced seaman with 30 plus years with national bulk carriers and doing ship-to-ship oil transfers off the Brac during the 1980s. He was also the founder of C&H Plumbing and an original band member of the famous Brac Beach Boys. During his time home from sea, he studied the art of catboat making and assisted his late grandfather-in-law, Mr. Arthur Dilbert, with the building of many catboats. Mr. Connolly loved serving in the community and was a volunteer during hurricane emergencies and assisted with the hurricane preparations, especially seeing to the safety of the elderly and the community. He would often share his fishing catch with friends and neighbors and bring Christmas gifts for the elderly. He was married to Elmitha Dilbert for 60 years and has 4 children, 5 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us in, another 10, 15 minutes or whatever time takes us. We'll decide. Because always the good company of Miss Amanda Roberts from Normandy. You're always a pleasure. I enjoy being in your company.
I love coming to talk to you too.
Thank you. And see that we don't need, a little tea or chocolate. That'll be good, but we can have a good fellowship.
Where's the refreshments? And your stand-in did very well last week as well. Catherine was great.
Oh man, she. I'm so glad.
Better watch your back there still.
No, hey, the invitation is there. I'm happy to pursue other endeavors, if she wishes. Can you make it happen? You know a guy? Thanks it off.
We love you both.
No, man. I in saying that sort of inclines me to speak through, this topic with Miss Jill Clapper over at Monteverdi Academy. If we look at society and if we look at a business and we talk about succession planning, and we're building resiliency and, we look at how the terminology is being used, business have continuity plans. But if our people, as parents, and as a wider populace, say to our pupils, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to experience education right down the street from where you were born and raised and where you live, or you can, hop the fence and go to the other community, or you can grab a camera with flight and head off to this. Or that level of interaction and engagement should not just inspire us, but should make us, mindful of the importance of integration, of unity, of collaboration. Right, Ms. Jill?
I agree.
See that? 2 agreements today. One more and it's mine.
You can come again, Jill.
No, I agree. It's scary to leave something that's familiar. It's uncomfortable. It's not necessarily human nature just to make yourself uncomfortable. But there's also maturity that comes with it. Mm-hmm. Students sometimes become very comfortable being at home and, being with the same friends their whole lives and playing on the same teams. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to colleges, now you have a change of environment and learning to acclimate and think independently and function as an individual and having just basic knowledge as to how to approach people from other cultures and different perspectives is a valuable tool in this day and age, especially in having so much access to everything in the world right now.
And sometimes almost instantaneously. Yeah. And you talked about the virtual interaction, but let me, if I may, just revisit your campus. Is I don't know if you want to call it boarding, but dorms. I'm thinking of it from the university perspective, whatever they're called there. But do you also do day as well? Like if a family was relocating or live nearby, they could send their child to school as we would do here at the high school. Is that how it is? So you can live on the campus, or you can also come in for the day and go back home in the evenings?
We have both options. Okay. So if a family is choosing to relocate, or if a mother or father wants to move for their child to have a U.S.-based education, we offer that. But we have about 230 boarding students on our campus, male and female, dominantly male because of the soccer programs and the basketball programs. But we have about 2 students to a room. And we're very blessed to have a wonderful housing staff, so dorm or house parents that live with the students in the dormitories.
And that mimics, to some extent, university setting where you're a student on campus. Whether you have a single or a double or quad room, you're living on campus on the floor with everybody else. You're going to the cafeteria. You're engaged.
Absolutely. The biggest difference is we do white glove inspections, and you have a bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Is that my home? All right, so I'm just trying to be, a little bit more jovial than normal. Lorraine must be bringing out the best in the spirits. But with that, bedtime is what time?
10 p.m.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and I don't think I would get in trouble for literally talking at the school. But I know a few families who have set bedtimes and a phrase that they've adopted, good sleep hygiene. So it's for the parents and it's for the children. And they sat down and they said, listen, we are this age, you guys are, as independent, and we're proud of you as you can be at this age. But we would like, as much as possible, that we have a bedtime. Everybody goes to bed by this hour. Put down our phones. And the last I heard from, what the father shared the last time we were fellowshipping, he said it's made a significant difference with the way they interact with each other, their health, their peacefulness, the sense of calm, my words, within the household. And that's amazing, and it's important. Whether you're 18 or whether you're 28 and you just think you can go with the sleeping, sleep is good.
Absolutely. And I will say that Montfort Academy's athletic division in campus is blessed to have a training crew. We have 5 athletic trainers on our campus, and the thing that they stress the most is physical recovery. Yeah. Our athletes, depending on their athletic type, meaning their sport, undergo a strenuous training day. And for muscle recovery, for mental recovery, for just your personal need, 8 hours is the recommended amount. So we encourage the students to try to go to bed by 10 o'clock, lights out, tablets off, get away from the ambient light, and let your mind rest so you're prepared for the next day.
It's interesting, and I don't say this, and this is my disclaimer. The information you're about to receive is not medical advice. Please consult your physician. But I'm told by someone I highly respect because of her training in the medical field. She says, listen, if you are just exercising, not just the muscle recovery and the growth and the like, but for weight loss, you could be eating as nutritiously balanced meal as possible. You could be doing a very intense, exertion when you're exercising. But if you add proper sleep, that rest and recovery, you'll see an amazing difference. And I thought, the sleep, but you're eating good, you're exercising, properly, and you're getting a good workout. The cardio is there. But add the sleep, your weight comes off, your muscle, so very important for the athlete as it is for that person, right, Ms. Jill?
Who's academic? Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so on campus, age, let me guess, 3 to, like me and Miss Jill, beyond 50.
So we do start at 3 years old. We go up to postgraduate.
Yeah.
So not a second senior year. So these are students who have already graduated, obtained the diploma, who have maybe just need the extra year for either educational recovery or more visibility in their athletic sport.
Okay. And that is something I wanted to ask. I did have a quick look. Most end at 18 or that degree, that high school diploma, that'd be the term. If not, you let me know. But you give an extra year for a student to not necessarily finish in school, or some may be terminate, but an extra year to get acclimated, to maybe upskill themselves, maybe get the exposure.
Absolutely. So in some cases, not all, some athletes struggle a little bit academically because they put everything they have into their sports and not into the academic focus. So when they try to get into their universities or colleges of choice, sometimes they struggle a little bit. So this gives them the opportunity to kind of recover a little bit in their GPAs, or maybe make up a class or two where they need that recovery. But it also allows for students who maybe felt they needed a little bit more time and development in their sports to be able to go to a Division I or Division II based school to have that extra year of athletic growth as well.
And it's putting an emphasis on the student, being student-centric.
Absolutely. And of course, I mean, the whole tenure of these boarding schools is college prep, and that is, you're learning the road to that independent step for college. So there's things like you're talking about the bedtimes and, learning to use your phones responsibly, your technology responsibly is always a big thing. And going straight to college is huge. So you're kind of getting them ready, not just academically, but, for the maturity that Jill's talking about, that some of them need that little bit extra time. But certainly if you can, get into a boarding school in the early days, you've got not just all those zillion opportunities in different activities and different sports to try out as well on your road to finding your path. You've got those extra years to reach that sort of level of maturity, so that when you go into college you are going to be okay, you're going to make it, you're going to get through that freshman year without going completely wild because you've suddenly got all this independence. I think it's gradually the releasing of the strings at boarding school that they're preparing you for college.
It's interesting. I want to laugh because either as a student or as a parent, just the reins are off for some, and some they function even better. Some are petrified. Others are properly or more better prepared. This is a wonderful sort of transitional phase. You're getting the nurturing and the likeness, but then you're getting ready for the next adventures.
Yeah, and on top of that, one of the things that I will tell you the Academy is very proud of and we're blessed to have is college guidance. So these are individuals who aren't just dedicated to the mental health of the students, but to directing them towards the right kind of school. We sit there and we look at legacies sometimes and we say, oh, my parents went to this college, so this is the college I must go to. But we ask the deeper questions. Is it the right choice? Why are you choosing to go there? It's because you think that they have the number one baseball team or basketball team or lacrosse team or swimmers. But is it the right choice for you? Because ultimately, what do you want to do with your life? Do you want to become a lawyer, a doctor, a technician, an engineer? Is the program at the university level the right one? So that college guidance department actually sits down with the students middle of their junior year to talk about long-term. One of the things we see a lot with athletes is, I want to be a pro. I want to go to the NBA, or I want to be, European circuit soccer player. Well, what's going to happen if you're not the 1%? What are you going to do? And a lot of times they question it. So the Academy has built academia for TV and media production, for media relation, not only that, but for economy. So do you want to become an agent? Do you want to become a financier? Do you want to become a sports manager? Do you want to become a doctor? Do you want to work in recovery of athletes? And we give them those opportunities to try. So now they have an athletic path that maybe doesn't put them on the starting line or anything, but still has them actively involved in athletics for the rest of their lives.
The student may start out thinking that she wants, for example, to be a professional basketball player. End up being a physician who is in sports medicine, getting to ensure that these athletes now are properly cared for, not just to assist when there's an injury, but preventative.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Yeah.
Who knew, Miss?
No, it's great that they can, still be involved in their passion, but they've got a plan B. Yeah. I think that's the main thing. We've got the plan B through the academics as well.
And I think as we listen, sometimes, we have that, the coach of mine used to say, that pipe dream, but what if you make a lot of money, you're successful, but you don't know how to manage it? The emphasis initially was, get your business degree so you can pay attention. Now, from what you're sharing, let's expand that to being part of the facilities management and scheduling, to all the other things that are connected to the sports world that you can still be a part of, but you're not, the athlete. You may be the owner of the team.
That's true. Teaching yourself self-advocation.
Boy, see the things we learn at Talk today? All right. Share with us, though, if you might, as much. For me, it's just not just interest, but it's intriguing to see students today in not just secondary environments that are strongly akin to what we will come to expect in a university setting, the facilities, the resources, just the setting of the campus. Describe your campus. 120 acres, you said?
130 in total. So it's divided into two pieces. There's the athletic complex, and then there is the academic loop. So all of the dormitories are on the same side as the academia loop. So basically, students can transition between the buildings and stuff within a 5-minute walk. There are multiple, like I said, buildings on the campus, so it functions very similar to a university. There's a dining hall. So our dining hall has a menu that changes every single day, multiple options, because proteins and carbs and grains and vegetables are all different for each and every athlete. So by having multiple different varieties, they can determine what's best for them. But boarders get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and day students do lunch. But it's about managing your time. It's about managing the transition and making sure you're responsible for getting from one spot to the other too. And one of the other things, we try to make sure that everything is balanced between the transition on campus to the homework load and even to the study periods, because students doing academia and athletics run out of time sometimes to study. So we offer study hall periods. That's part of why there's a bedtime too, so that way they manage after practice from then to bedtime for doing their homework. We highly encourage group studying and using your resources around you. So there's a study hall available to the students on the weekend. Teachers are available through their iPads and their technology systems at all times. We have a brand new innovation center that has a beautiful study area in there, and there's tutors in there multiple days out of the week. So, as far as the campus in itself, there's the academics, and then the athletics actually complies completely with academia. They coordinate with all of the teachers, so students will be doing their homework, even if they're an athlete. But also working with those physical trainers and making sure that, everything is on par with their physical and mental health. But the facilities in themselves are absolutely beautiful.
It's a gorgeous gym, isn't it? The basketball gym is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful on the inside. And if you're interested in seeing it, it streams live at montfordsports.com. So you can always log in and actually watch one of the basketball games live. But we have 6 soccer fields, a lacrosse court, track and field, baseball diamonds, softball diamonds, pools, indoor volleyball courts, sand volleyball courts, and more to come.
Huh. Again, she said post-grad. I was thinking, is that post-grad from university? Not quite.
I'm not sure we can turn the clock back that far.
Yeah. Hey, it's not that far. Oh, but this is what I think is exciting about education. And I think many times, unconsciously, we the adults, including the parent and the teachers, we present education. And even though we say to our children, oh, this is the best time of your life, wait until you start to have to work. But are we actually encouraging them? As you shared, Ms. Jill, that for me is, wow, this would be nice. Yes, it'll be homework, you're going to go to classes, and you may or may not be an athlete. But learning, engaging, interacting, it's crucial, Ms. Amanda. What do you think?
It certainly is. And to have, shall we say, more high-level conversations of meaningful things. I mean, politics come into things always, and you want to be informed, and you're learning by your reading, wide reading, and of all different walks of life, and learning from your friends from all over the world of how things work in their country as well. It's very important, and we're never too old to learn some more, and to learn to understand more about other people. And I think the boarding school environment helps promote that sort of dialogue, because on a daily basis you're interacting on the field or in the gym or in the theatre with people from all over the world who are learning at the same time as you are.
Yeah. If I might ask, and I'm conscious of the time, and I'll ask you to remind us more about the presentation tomorrow evening and the like, but through you, Mr. if I may, sometimes as the parent, we may have a greater reservation and reticence about allowing that child to leave at any age. And sometimes the child may be a little bit, I'm not sure on me yet. Other than the safety, which I would love for you to emphasize, we know the benefits, but speak to some of the things that may cause us to have a bit of reticence. Well, should we go? Should we go now? Put our minds at ease.
Sure. I think that safety is one of the major factors, and financial is typically another one, along with emotional maturity. For the safety of the school, we are an open campus, meaning there are no gates surrounding us. The school was established in 1912, so the community around it is very familiar with the academy in itself. We are in a suburban area, so there's not a lot of heavy traffic or anything like that runs through the campus. We do have 2 armed guards that do rotation 365 days out of the year, internal and external cameras inside every building and inside every classroom. We have the locking door systems, and we do practice drills multiple times a year. But one of the things that's really unique about the campus is about 65% of its faculty and staff actually reside on campus. So the people living around on campus are teachers, staff members, and administrators. So we see into the campus at all times, and we're always involved with the students and knowing where they're at. They're never left to their own adventures or devices without supervision. Now, that's not to say they can't have a little independence, but it's controlled.
Yeah.
But the monetary concern sometimes is, why should I spend the money now versus wait and save it for university? Well, and a lot of times students who really strive for the higher academics and they strive for those unique training opportunities in sports can get college scholarships better than students who just never take the risk. The exposure is completely different. So you have to look at it like it's a long-term investment for your students' betterment in universities, but also the resources available into getting into higher level universities is unique to boarding schools. I mean, Montverde Academy in itself has over 100 colleges and various universities who come visit us every year, so the students can actually meet them face-to-face and ask the hard questions while they're on the campus. That's something sometimes you don't get in the public systems.
Right. And I mean, your focus, as you shared, is trying to drive that student to excellence, and then not just a success now at graduation, but become an alumni so that they move further afield. And later on, you can point and go, that was a graduate of Montverde.
Absolutely. And we love following our students on Facebook and social media just to see what they're doing and watching them grow their families and start businesses. And, some have become professional actors. Some have gone off to play in the NBA. Some are in the European soccer leagues. And then we have some that have just, become local businessmen or accountants. Some that have I have a couple that went on to become veterinarians, and some have chosen to be a stay-at-home wife and support their families and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with any of it, but it's knowing that they always have those resources available to come back to the community and be part of it, or to pursue other passions in the future.
And this is what education brings for us, Mr. Amanda, that idea that we're loving and nurturing, we're caring, we're compassionate, we're resourceful, resilient, but we're also respectful and responsive to what is before us. Right?
Yes, and I think with the narrative on boarding school has changed. It's not the parents sending the children away anymore. If a family comes to me for advice on boarding school, the first thing I ask the kid is, do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And if they say yes, I say, well, what are you doing about it? You have to lead the charge as the student.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be mum and dad saying you're going there or you're going there, because the only path to success really is if the student leads the way and shows that they're really keen. Mum and dad have got to commit often quite a lot of money for this, so you've got to do your part as the student to make it work and really want to do it as they're making that financial commitment.
Yeah. Nothing venture, nothing gain. They say with great risk may come great reward. But preparation and planning, I think this still helps, not just the success in terms of measured and whatever, but that internal success, that thing that you get, that you know you've done your best and you can be proud of what you achieve.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So tomorrow evening, there's another opportunity to be one-on-one with Jill over at 6:30?
Yes, 6:30, the Compass Loft, and we'll be having a sort of meet and greet to start with, and then at 7 o'clock Miss Jill will be doing her presentation on Montverde Academy, so you can learn more, and then you'll have an opportunity for Q&A and hopefully talking to some current parents as well, and generally getting to learn more about their programs and the campus, and then after that, if you want to take it further, you can come and see me and we can talk about it.
Oh, well, I think for those of us who like virtual and all the other things, there's that opportunity. But if you have someone who's right in front of you, you can interact with.
Absolutely. Come and talk to Jill while she's here.
All
absolutely.
Right. So tomorrow evening, 6:30, the Compass Loft.
Correct.
Any numbers or anything you want to share?
Yeah, well, it'd be helpful to have some RSVPs and get you registered for the event. So you can call me on 936-3676 or email admin@dormanday.ky.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Any final closing thoughts, Ms. Jill, you might want to share with our listeners?
I just encourage everybody to sort of give it a shot, come to the fairs, listen, meet the people, and hear what opportunities are out there for their students.
Mm-hmm.
There's certainly nothing wrong with staying home and everything, but if your passions lie beyond that, please come check us out and hear what we have to say.
Well, thanks for making time to share with us. Thanks to Ray for facilitating the discussion. And
thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure. Any time with you, Miss Amanda, is always awesome. So thanks very much. Well, enjoy. Thanks for bringing the Florida rain with us.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, we're going to pause, and when we come back, we're going to invite you to join us for another discussion. We're going to give you a chance to, get into the Movember mood. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub.
Say what?
The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration with store-wide savings. Save on appliances, faucets, tubs, toilets, shower doors, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. Starting Monday, November 6th, save 30%. Monday, November 13th, the savings will drop to 20%. And Monday, November 20th, they will drop to 10%. It pays to shop early and save more. Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration savings on now through November 25th. Dorsey Drive Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
Did you know that in an event of a hurricane, water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use? Water may be disinfected by boiling or through the use of chlorine bleach. To disinfect through boiling, simply leave the water on the fire 1 minute after it begins to boil. To disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. If you're not able to smell the bleach in the water after 30 minutes, then add half of the amount of bleach that was added during the initial application. Recheck the water after 15 minutes to ensure there is residual bleach smell. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For more hurricane food safety tips, visit the DEH website, www.gov.ky/DEH.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And it's a chance now to spend half an hour thereabouts with 2 fine gentlemen, and 2 of us would agree that one of the other is even much better. Mr. John Edwards, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
I am grateful, sir. I am grateful.
Well, I tell you, if you would allow us to say publicly that a gentleman of your stature who not just inspires us, but just by his example causes us to want to raise the bar. You're a great example to many, sir.
51 years of this service now, I don't think I'll ever give up.
No, man. And that is, I think, what we can see increasingly, that we're seeing in international media things that are unfolding that speak to how people's lives are enriched, how they themselves are getting not just more longevity, but enjoyment. And I think service, having a purpose, giving.
It keeps me going.
I'll tell you what, man, you got energy that you're plugged into the sun. All right. As we welcome, it's okay if I say Lion John Edward. I mean, I'm not I'm honored self. Mr. Dave, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy short week.
Says who? The parliamentarians have been working back to... we won't go there.
Yes, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I'll leave that for now. No, but welcome, and thanks for coming along, because it's important that we have these discussions. see the partnerships, of, if I might say, a fantastic organization like the Lions Club.
Yeah, and as you were just saying, it's I think it is very important to be part of something.
Proud.
It really gives you purpose. It keeps you in touch with the community. I know as I'm getting older now, my body won't do all the things that I wanted to do, but I'm still part of one sports team. And even though those boys are starting to get a bit faster than me and they're younger than me, I still turn up and I'm still involved every year because I feel I've got to be part of something in sports, something in community, something in charity.
Yeah.
It's just it's nice, and you get out of it what you put into it.
Well, as that song, even though our minds might, the song says, "My body won't lie to me." So keeping the body young and active and engaged helps the mind to be agile, right? Then John?
My biggest problem is I can't say no.
Yeah.
If anyone asks me for something, it's a yes, automatic. And
Lion Johnny, can I get $20 there, please?
Sure.
Thank
No,
you.
he would give it to you. You see, there's this lady, right? And her husband probably was the reason why she came. She said, "Nancy, just say no." That's my best one bringing impression.
Yeah,
But
and doing the service to the community gives me much joy.
Yeah.
And I get a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
As I go along trying to help others less fortunate. And I try to get myself involved in just about anything that's particularly for the less fortunate.
Yeah. But I think what is important is that wanting to do and being able to do will possibly not just enhance but facilitated if we take care of our bodies, our mind. And Dave, from that perspective, having seen, especially through the pace walk, these last few years, men increasingly starting to be serious about talking to other men, not just physician to patient, but friend to friend, whether it's over libation, whether they're going to the social game that they're going to have. Hey, did you check your test? When you go to the doctor, did you ask? Or the other might say, "Listen, I'm going to be going. I know you went, but what is this like?" And they're talking. We see the women in our lives having that interaction, but for us, we weren't so much.
That is the first step, really. People think, oh yeah, well the first step is if it's a physical ailment, you think, oh, the first step is to talk to your doctor. Not for men. No, the first step is to ask one of your bros, hey, have you had this before? Hey, what do you think of this? What did you do when you got this? And then they'll tell you, and that's where it really starts. And then you'll feel more confidence in going to the doctor. You won't feel like you're going to surprise the physician with something that they've never seen before, which is never the case anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, it's all about starting the conversation, and you start that with your friends who you walk with, your friends who you play soccer with, your friends who you have your hobbies with, and your friends who you do your community service with.
And I think this is where having public events, like coming up on Thursday, where you have someone who's experienced, has a level of expertise to be able to share from, say, a medical perspective in a setting that may be a little bit more familiar, but it's also good that there are other people who can speak at that level to say, listen, this might have been the perception, but it's a misconception. This might have been what you think, but here's my personal experience. And then it's incumbent on us as the friend to become more knowledgeable, to be able to speak not in a dogmatic way, but with a sense of authority, to encourage our brothers in particular to say, listen, go. And this literally happens. What do you mean? You're older than me, you haven't done this yet? Well, no, because... And then we make jokes about it, and in that joke, there comes the information.
Serious, yes.
Yeah. All right.
One of the things I've noticed that particularly men are more... or let's put it this way, they're harder to drive than
I like how you put that.
Most women are.
Yeah.
And they're afraid to go to the doctors and whatnot. And our aim as Lions really is, if we save one life, we would have accomplished our goal.
Yeah, man. And I think...
And any way that I can, personally, to try to do that, I will, the best of my ability.
And this is where at the outset, if Kobe was here, he would say, any of your, fellow Lions members, but anybody, you're that example in many endeavors. You give freely of your time, your talent, your treasure. Dave's just that, hey, you got $20. It's just a demonstration that
it's
you
automatic.
give. Yeah.
It must be a need for it.
Yeah. There's that thing that we give because we want to and we can. And giving of knowledge. Yeah. The event on Thursday evening, Dave, it's in a setting that is accessible and convenient. It's in a time that if we invest in it, we'll come away with not just timely information, but perhaps life-saving information. Tell us about what do you have on?
All right. Well, it is a Movember Info Night hosted by the Lions Club of Grand Cayman at the Lions Centre, partnering up with the Cayman Islands Cancer Society and Movember Cayman. This year, we're lucky enough to have 4 speakers, and we will have all those speakers' hospitals, their organisations represented as well in the form of booths, where you can, while the talks are going on, you can actually go and obtain information about whatever they can give you, really. And hopefully they can answer all your questions in that same time. This is going to be a little bit more kind of user-friendly this year. You won't have the doctors, the presenters, up on the stage for the whole time while giving the presentations. The presentations will be shorter. There will be allowances for Q&As after each presentation. Then the doctors will be back at their booths. So if there's a question you have that's been burning in your mind that you don't feel comfortable asking in front of everybody with the microphone in your face, they will be there that evening after their talk at the booth if you want to ask them just in person a little bit more personally.
Okay.
It's all about, like I say, starting the conversation, getting the questions out there. Now, the main draw, obviously, is free PSA testings for all eligible men. And I'm happy to announce that we will also be doing free glucose testing as well. As we know, diabetes is a big killer in the Caribbean, especially in Cayman Islands. If you saw the results of the latest STEP survey, it shows that Cayman Islands needs to do a lot in getting our health back to where it should be. And reducing the risk of diabetes. So this could be the first step for many people through PSA testings and glucose testing into getting your screening schedule set up and
and then the
know
PSA.
what you are.
Yeah, as we maybe take our schedule break, and we'll come back and conclude. But the PSA is just a simple blood test.
Yes, yeah. So just draw a little bit of blood. It is not the old school prostate tests that some people know and love. Yeah, it's very simple. It is encouraged that anybody really 40 and over should start getting their PSA testings regularly. Just because you're getting it done doesn't mean you're going to find something. What you'll get is you'll get your PSA number. And if you continue with the regular testings and you start seeing a spike in that number, then you know that something's up, and you can talk to your family doctor, and then they can conduct further tests.
All right.
But if you catch it early, prostate cancer is something that none of us should have to deal with at all.
No.
Exactly.
I commend Mr. Roy Borden, our former parliamentarian educator, for so publicly sharing, with us, and. He left us with a couple of things, and he said, listen, don't ignore that niggling feeling, and don't be a paraphrase, don't be so obstinate, pig-headed that you have to suffer with this. There is life after. He was very, very explicit in his usual professional, respectful way, sharing it. And I think Thursday we can talk more about that. But when we come back, let's have a continued discussion. Tell us some more. It is this Thursday, the Lions Cinema. I'm going to tell you the time. We're going to tell you all the good things that happen. So join us right after the break.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Parents and students are invited to attend the 2023 International Boarding School Fair on Tuesday, November 14th at the Marriott Beach Resort from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Registration at www.bettywalker.com. Meet junior and college prep schools across the United States and Canada. Learn firsthand about their academics, curriculum, extracurricular activities, sports and cultural programs, application process, SSAT requirements, and financial aid. For more information, contact Neil Murray at 925-8793 or email l-murray@cnw.ky. The 2023 North American Boarding School Fair, building friendships, building relationships, and building experiences. Tuesday, November 14th at the Marriott Beach Resort from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
It's party season, which means it's pizza boat season. Aren't you tired of the same boring pizza? It's time to party. All aboard the pizza boat. Birthday parties, holiday functions, office luncheons, game nights. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas. All day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Fridays until 3 a.m. Pickup or delivery 949-0000 or get it online at www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
Are you eager to learn what boarding school can offer? Is your child seeking an academic challenge or to take their sport to college level? Dorm and Day, your boarding school experts in Cayman, are pleased to welcome Montfort Academy, a leading coeducational boarding school located near Orlando. Join us at the Compass Loft on Wednesday, 15th November at 6:30 p.m. Talk to parents and hear Montfort's Associate Dean speak about their outstanding athletics, music, and academic options, including dual enrollment courses and new EA Sports Online Gaming Academy. For registration, call 936-3676.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And certainly want you to not only be informed, we spend less than the next 10 minutes or so as we go up to the headlines at 2, speaking to if you don't mind me celebrating publicly in so many ways, Mr. Johnny W. Ebanks, and you, like many of your Lions members, but so many other men in our community, we know that we love, celebrate, honor, and respect the women, our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers. But we often ask, where are the men? That's wonderful songs. Where are your heroes, West Indies? Well, in Cayman, we have heroes. If it's okay, for me to say this to you, you are one of our heroes in many ways. Your past experience as your career, your continued, 5+ decades of service to community. The other things that we know about you personally, you have been an inspiration, sir. Honestly, in many ways.
I live for that. I really live for that. I want to inspire somebody. Any good you can do on this earth, if you do it while you're living, you can't do it after you're gone.
You better do it now, huh?
Do it now.
All right. And Dave, that's... Sorry.
And any good that you can do for others, you do it now too, not only for yourself.
I was going to say this to Dave, but let me just, if I might, as John will say it to you. The golden rule that many of us live, I'm beginning to question, and I certainly don't mind, and I welcome correction. It seems that it's been either reinterpreted or certainly applied in a way that the golden rule now is he who has the goal makes the rule, or he who has the gun makes the rule. Instead of, if I do good to you, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And you have done, by example, great things for many, not just through the service of Lions Club, but individually. That is so important now, more than ever.
Especially now.
Especially.
The need is more now than it used to be.
Yep.
One of the things that drove me to, aspired me to continue on this trend is some of my past presidents, like Tommy Holston, Mike Simmons. They'll know his club. He's who created the PACE, or we created the PACE event because of him.
Yeah.
And we continue that. And I don't think we'll ever change. And I will never, ever get off the committee.
No, man. And you've mentioned, some men. And this is why I emphasize that we talk about, fathers being in the lives of their children. We talk about communities needing to have men of valor, men of stature, men of standard. But we have them, like men being, let's just say, a bit reticent to go to the physician to get their checkup. We make sure our wives and our daughters and everybody else go, but we're a little bit hesitant. We also don't celebrate them enough. And maybe we've done ourselves a great disservice. And men like you, man, whether we having a plate of turtle meat or whether they're just talking about a cassava,
I still eat the turtle meat. So.
We can celebrate.
And I can. I certainly do. I don't go overboard. I have my ice cream once in a while.
Yeah. Moderation, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And I've been a diabetic since, 41 years gone, and I learned to live with it.
Yeah. And that is something that, as you shared, and Dave talked about not just the PSA, but I think the A1C is what you're going to do.
The glucose testing?
The glucose testing, right? And there are many who have this idea that once you have certain diagnosis, that's it.
Don't give up.
But you're...
don't give up.
Yeah. And you can enjoy.
I soon be 8 and I still going.
Okay. Dave, we're going to focus
on...
Still got
2 jobs, man.
Yeah. All right. For those, and probably the only people that don't know you, sir, are the people that are probably still waiting in customs somewhere other part of the world, the board came on and they come in. Everybody knows you. You'll soon be 80, all right? And only us that know that because, pray to God continue to give another 180 years.
Yeah, but you got to keep going. You got to keep moving or your C's up.
Yeah.
See there? Age is just a number. That's good living, sir.
Yeah. And I hope I go on for at least another 10 years. I see some things I want to do.
No, man. I hope you don't mind me, but I pray that you see at least another 40. I'm looking for 120. Yeah. So I need somebody to join me.
I said we're going 105, but I kind of checked back on the list.
105, my uncle and my aunt, they went to 1+. So you know what? You can make it, man. We got to do it.
We got to do it. Encourage.
There you go. And part of that doing it is Pops Thursday, Dave, that we come to the
take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself, And I know that I can, if three people listening right now will go, take your advice. Because we do take care of ourselves as much as we should and as much as we could. And we have access. Here's a free event. And many of us are going to be...
Like Dave said, we're in this together, and I'm glad to be a partner with Cancer Society or any society in that fight.
Yeah.
I'll merge with anybody for the good of the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
And its people.
It's all about collaborating now. With the one goal is to build a stronger and healthier community. One of the organisations actually putting on the glucose testing is Cayman Heart Fund, and they're happy to be present as well, and impart their knowledge and their resources to help us give the men of Cayman a fighting chance if they can't give it to them themselves. We will also have the speakers, the doctors who will be giving the talks. They will be presenting Doctors Hospital, HSA and Health City, who are all sponsoring the event. And I just want to say thank you to them for that. None of this can be done for free, unfortunately. So I'm very happy that these hospitals always step up and they support Movember Cayman and the Cayman Islands Cancer Society with all these educational nights, educational events, so that we can help the community as much as we can.
All right. So we know the event is this Thursday at the Lions Community Centre.
Yes.
Remind us exactly when, where, and how, and what. And come on, Dave, tell us.
All right. Well, if you can get there for 6 o'clock, because we're expecting a lot of people, so there will be a lot of PSA testing to get through, a lot of glucose testing to get through. So if you can get there for 6 o'clock, please. The presentations then will start at 7, and we will have some light refreshments and some food as well. And hopefully everything will be wrapped up by about 8 o'clock, 8:30.
This Thursday, and the PSA, prostate-specific antigen, I think is what my physician friends remind me it stands for. But it's a blood test, right? Just a simple blood test. If you volunteer for the DRE, they'll do that the next day.
It's painless.
And it is painless. But it is a very, very important test.
Yes.
And just like the A1C, it doesn't matter if you had, a big dish last evening, it's going to look at it for the last 3 months or so. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just come down and let's make a starting point.
Yeah, start somewhere, and that thing might be what puts you on a road to better health, physically and mentally.
Helps guide you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I guarantee you'll
start somewhere.
You'll learn something, and you'll find a lot of inspiration Thursday night. Yeah. So it'll help.
And bring a friend, because I think we are quick to take our friends. Let's go play, a game. But do we talk to them about our health? And we may labor under sort of a misconception about something. Here's a way to be informed.
It is.
All right.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you're a woman, a lady listening right now, please bring your husband, bring your boyfriend, bring both of them if you have to.
Yeah, I like you saying that, man.
Significant other.
No, laughter is good medicine, right? Especially on the rainy day. No, but this is important. And it'll be a good evening of fellowship. It'll be, like I said, some light refreshments, but it's about information. So, final thoughts to you, Mr. Dave, and then, of course, to Mr. John Edward.
Well, it takes a village, and we have a lot of people here who are hesitant and who are unsure, people who don't have a GP at the moment, and they're scared to find out, and they think, right, what would I even do with this information if I got it? But that's not the way to be thinking. We need to move forward. This is the day and age where we have the resources to test you early, to get this disease before it can do any damage at all. And like I said, prostate cancer it's possible that we can make this a thing of the past. If you check it early, get it, catch it early, it doesn't have to ruin your life.
Well, I'm hoping that I'll take what you shared and apply it to me personally, and through that encourage others, and I'll ask other men to do the same. Mr. John Edward, your closing remarks. Sir.
I personally, I send it out there or push it out there for anybody that is interested in knowing their status on their health. This is a good opportunity to have more than one thing done. You can check your sugar, you can check your pressure, everything is in there. We do have a program with site testing. We will be doing some site testing on site as well on Thursday. And it's lots that you can check there that's free, that you don't have to pay for, but you have something of knowledge to yourself that you know where you're at and what they expect from yourself. You have to treat yourself to that.
Take care of yourself.
Like I say, it's free. Please come out and support yourself and others in your community.
Well, thank you both for reminding us. Thanks for taking time to extend the invitation. And Dave, as you shared to the, the partners, from the HSA, Doctors Hospital, Health City, for coming on board. And even another, if they don't mind me referring to it as a charity or a heart fund, for being part of this, ongoing approach to health. So thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
All right. All right, this Thursday, 6 p.m. at the Lions Community Center, as part of the Movember event. Come out and not just look at your, your prostate, but get your blood sugar checked. So this Thursday. All right, join us after the break for some open line.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands government's quarterly financial report for the 9-month period ended September 30th, 2023, was published in the Cayman Islands Gazette on Friday, November 10th, as required by law. The unaudited financial results for the third quarter 2023 show a $111.3 million surplus for the core government and a $116.6 million surplus for the entire public sector. Net assets of the government were $2.2 billion, with overall bank account balances of $582.1 million in cash and deposits. In international news, the U.S. Army has overturned convictions of 110 black soldiers who were arrested after the 1917 Houston riots. A military review found the soldiers were not given fair trials and were wrongly treated because of their race. Records will now be reclassified to characterize their military service as honorable. The riots took place after months of racial provocations against members of a regiment known as Buffalo Soldiers. Singer Pink will give away 2,000 free copies of books that have been banned by some schools in Florida to fans at her concerts in Miami this week. The star has waded into the row over some libraries and classrooms, removing books with sexual content or themes of sexuality, gender identity, and race. Florida authorities say they want to restrict inappropriate and harmful material, but that they don't ban books. Pink has joined forces with PEN America, a campaign group that says it defends freedom of expression for authors. It says Florida has had more books banned than any other U.S. state, accounting for more than 40% of all documented examples. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And again, on behalf specifically of the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, in the partnership with the Cancer Society, part of their peace event. This coming Thursday then at the Lions Community Center. Please come out, prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting We do have a call, though. Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, welcome to you too.
Hey, how are you? It's good to hear you. It's good to see you, too, but it's good to hear you.
Yeah, well, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You were so well missed.
Thank you. And I actually, honestly, I missed it, man. I'm not a public person. I don't necessarily like publicity. I don't like having these headsets on and being in front of a microphone, but I missed you guys, man. I really did.
Yeah, we missed you too. You gave me a vacation. I took my vacation while you was on your vacation.
Well, next time I do that, we got to do something physical. We go up to East End or Cameron.
You know what I mean? You give those listeners out there an ideas.
Yeah. Oh, no, I shouldn't. Be careful. All right. I'm going to ask my friend to pick up their WhatsApp call as well. We'll take that after. But yeah. No. It's good to see your sister islands, see your friends and family.
Yeah, so happy to have you back. And like I said, you was well missed. And I did get a few phone calls, wants to know where you at. So I was able to tell them you're on vacation. And I took my vacation at the same time you took yours.
There you go. Now we're back together, making it better, right?
Yes, exactly. I need to ask a question.
Of course.
What time of December you'll be closing down your talk show?
Well, that's above my pay grade, but I can tell you what I think will be the answer. We on Talk Today, on the other ones where I know they take a little break, well needed and deserved one. We'll continue to, other than the appointed holidays, we'll continue to have our program.
Oh yeah, you're going to be on air during the festive days.
I'll be on for some days, but I will be off. I'll be off I'll be off a little bit more than God's willing. Here is something, right, that and I know we have another call, and I don't want to sort of hold you up too long or delay the other person, but my view, and this is something I've always, for whatever reason, subscribed to, and the longer I work, the more I've engaged in other organizations, and for as long as I've been working, I find Christmas to be a time, if my memory is accurate, and for those who can add to it, please do. But I recall what we know would loosely call the financial services sector, right? Banks, law firms, and insurance companies in particular, they used to take a nice needed siesta, extended from just before Christmas Eve to just a few days after the New Year, and they would have a skeletal staff. Do you remember that? It was
I can't say. I too young.
Okay. I walked into that one. And I think Christmas is that time where we look, to our fathers and uncles and our older brothers coming back from sea.
Yes.
And it was that time where we had this extended fellowship, this eating and celebrating. And as a result,
that little bottle of white rum.
There you go.
Bottle of white rum.
Yeah. And for me, I've always had the view that on Christmas, from the 22nd, 23rd December, depending on how the calendar falls, to the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th of January, depending on the calendar, we have what I would, loosely and personally call National Go Slow. We shut down as much as possible the operation. Now, some people hear that and they'll have a field day. But we fail to appreciate the importance of it. And this constant 24/7 working doesn't serve anybody any good. It doesn't make more money. It doesn't do anything. All right. So if we had that, there's a time in my businesses I said to the staff, you have your appointed holidays by law. You get an extra, because this is how we operate. But Christmas time, between this time, we're closing down. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it made them more productive. It made them more appreciative. If I called and asked outside of office hours, outside of the working day or whatever, they would respond. Yes, they get paid, but they respond happily. I think that's important.
Yeah.
It's kind of why
Yeah, Yeah. Well, since you mentioned on 24 hours, that Sterling, I got so much to talk to you about. It'll probably take me until next year, January, February. But I want to hit on something before
Of course.
You go. Talking about the 24 hour. Sterling, I think I called you just before you went on vacation in regards to Cayman becoming a 24-hour island. Because this 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night with the traffic, including the dump trucks, the trailers, the bulldozers, and so forth. Everything is working from 6 to 6 here in Cayman. And that cannot continue down the road because the traffic is getting more and more crazy by the hour, by the minute, by the day, the month, and the year. So something needs to be done in a 24-hour work, some sort of 24-hour working schedule on this island when it comes to certain things. Because I remember some years ago, they were doing certain jobs at night. And all that was cut out because a lot of people say there wasn't getting overtime, or the company was saying it was spending too much money on overtime. It's not as much as overtime, Sterling, but say, for example, let's say the dump trucks that the dirt from one location to the next. Let's say that they do their work at night and they're off the road for the day. They go and dump their stuff where they have to dump it. If someone has to put a bulldozer on a job for next morning work, why can't that be taken there in the night time, and then the gentleman go the next morning and work that bulldozer or that tractor or whatever it may be? This 6 to 6 in Cayman cannot work, so something needs to be done. But we'll talk about it some more. I wanted to talk to you about this, and I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Sterling, after 10 long months of misery, running from this one to the next one to get answers in regards to my tax ID. I finally got my ID last week.
Congrats. Wow.
Without that banner, sorry, on my car.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sorry. And to see that I lost 10 months of work because I refused to go and work on the road. You understand? That was my choice. And I went into the pen, and I wanted to stay in the pen. I didn't want to come out of the pen. And that's why I refused not to go to work and work on the road. You know? Yeah. And to think that they're going to hold my ID for 10 months. And now my business and trade license that was already paid for, they tell me now, has to go back to the board. It could take about 4 to 6 weeks, and then it's almost expired, I believe. So there'll be another new one has to be issued. I want to know who got to pay all this money that I have lost.
Maybe
capacity.
Yeah, maybe you might consider speaking to a lawyer and suing him for denial of service and compensation. Maybe it's a conversation to be had. You certainly need to be commended for holding your ground.
Yeah, and I did speak to someone, and they say that it was my choice not to go to work, and my choice was to go to work on the road. I am not bringing down those who want to work on the road.
Yeah.
Okay? But I am sorry. I try my very best not to do it. And thank God I had another job that I can depending on.
Well, maybe speaking to somebody else might give you a different perspective, but I'll leave that to you. But I'm glad, principle is important, and those who stand on it, Thank you very much.
I'll let you go and get your calls.
All right. Thanks, huh?
Bye. Good.
Thank you. All right, let's take this other call from the WhatsApp. Hey, welcome. Afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, what's happening, man? How are you?
All right. Yeah, man. Welcome back. Good to hear you.
Thank you, man. It's good to be back, It's good to be back.
You still there?
I'm right here, man. Can you hear me okay?
You still there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I am. You still can hear me, right?
Very clearly. Yes.
All right, good. I was just telling Catherine when she was on the show, man. I said, man, I can't wait for Sterling come back to tell him, it's good that we are still living in Cayman.
You think we'd ever get to that space where we have the pride to say it's Cayman?
Yeah, boy, we got stick with what we know. We got stick with what we know.
Yeah, man. Correct what's wrong.
We live in Cayman. You live in Barkers, up around Barkers. I live
Barkers,
around
boy.
Bamboo Bay. I come from Spot. I come from Boop Point. Now Booba Point. So we got stick with what we.
Oh my God.
But just following up my favorite caller did that just called. Yeah, glad to hear her too.
Always.
I know her in a while. Yeah. But it's good to know that she finally got through with what she got. But I just listening to what she's saying there, and knowing that she's a Caymanian, it goes to show how much our system helps our Caymanians in these kind of situations. Because right now I was listening to the meeting that they're having there, but since you had a list time, I say I would come off of that and listen and call your show because they're trying to bite back at everyone, each other there now that really didn't cover their tracks within the last couple of years. Now everybody's blaming everybody and everybody wants to be the leader of the pack. But the thing about it is, if they would stop and try to realize, stop putting themselves first and try to remember they have to put Caymanians first. All this wouldn't rise up if it were Caymanians they were implementing into their service, into their every time they open their log book. The first thing we see is need to help my Caymanians. If they would implement Caymanians into their system, they wouldn't have these kind of problems in Sterling. But as long as they neglect us, they're gonna have issues. The system will never change because they're not there for the people. They're there to be fighting one another and tearing down one another. That's not helping us. It's not helping us. And when the lady was on there filming for you, I had to tell her that I was speaking to her about this. I think it was her I was speaking about, or OC that I was speaking about this sector that government formed here to create the housing for the people to help not the housing they I forget what the body it's called now, before they help those in need of
you mean
financial
the NAU you mean?
Yes,
no,
thank you, NAU.
Yeah, they're gonna be changed that to what?
I still, Sterling, is struggling to try to figure out why did government implement such a system into our service into the system if it's not to help the Caymanian people. People calls my phone all the time, Sterling. I'm not even a politician. I am not even nobody. I just someone just sitting down in my front yard watching my soccer trees grow. But people are struggling. People are starving almost because of prices on fuel going up every time you turn around. Sure, they can't go in the stores. And yet you hear them talking about what they need to get done in the government before their time is up, which is just a matter of months. And Sterling, they're still forgetting about me and you and the rest of them. I would like to ask them what curtain are they looking from behind? Because it doesn't seem like they can see through the material that they're looking through. God gave them clear vision, and they're blinded by the stupidity of the things that is running these islands, and are forgetting their people. How can that happen? And just now that when Minister Saunders was speaking, part of that was what he was speaking about. How can they neglect us as Caymanians all these years that they've been in there for the last 3 years they've been in there, and all of a sudden now they got try to find some solution. Caymanian, it's too late. It's too late. I don't know which other government will come in next, but Sterling, right now for this, it's too late.
But let me ask.
People are struggling.
And I think many would, as they listen to you, would certainly take on board what you share. But is that part of the problem? Now, over the last few days, I think many of us have been privy to different conversations, people sharing their perspective. Like you, they probably say, well, this comes down to either this or that. But is this, part of the parliamentary process where, because of the political part of the system, this is what you have? Look at other jurisdictions where they have a change in government simply because the parliamentarians are able to align themselves and decide that they want this way versus that. Is it, as some have shared, it's a perspective on leadership? They rather this versus that one. They don't think this is effective or competent or whatever it is. Or is this pettiness? Is this, as some have also questioned, the politicians want their hands, in the pie?
But how did they get to the point? How did they actually get? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm hearing you. How did they actually get? Was what you're going to say? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did they get actually to this point of knowing that everything that they had on their agenda to do, they came close enough to accomplishing it. Most ministers did, and most ministers are still trying to get that accomplished. But how did they forget? What part of that agenda did they forget about us? How did they not? How can they go by day living and worrying about buildings and roads and flights and this and that, and they don't consider that the every time a ship comes to the dock, the price goes up. Every time a fuel ship comes to the port, the fuel goes up. Our banks, no, Sterling, I said it some months ago that it was gonna happen, and sure enough, it happening. The fluctuation of the interest in those banks are through the roof. Know what they gonna do now? So know what they gonna do?
Yeah. Well, let me then ask two things. One, is it us, and us specifically the voters, right? The registered voters. I'm hoping everybody who's eligible would get, but those who are registered, are we sufficiently involved and informed? Are we engaged in what is happening? Or are we just letting things unfold, and then when election time come around, we get caught up in it and we decide something based on whatever? Are we actively involved in what happens, what our parliamentarians are supposed to be doing, what hits the agenda, the policies, the amendments to laws, the proposed programs? I mean, are we part of this, or are we just coming to vote and then leave it to them, and then we don't like it? Are we sufficiently involved?
I don't understand how someone can say that they just go to vote and forget about the whole situation in a way. Because when we go to vote, we got to realize that vote is like putting our head on a chopping block. We are sticking our neck out there for them to make sure that they get it right. Right. That's basically what we are doing. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, we seeing and we hearing where there's no. I mean, Sterling, some days ago I spoke to an elderly lady, and for about almost a year, Sterling, under this in a help with the Skyping and everything else. Yeah. This woman's home is underwater when it rains, in her house. And for you can tell me that we sit down in our parliament meetings and row about what we doing among one another, and clearly forgetting who put them there and the purpose that they're there. What is the purpose that they're there? Yeah. They're not there to hold arguments with one another. They forgot they lost the vision of what they were there for. And now, Sterling, it's too late. Yeah, man. It has come up with time, has come up upon them. It's too late.
Well, I'll hold the other question for maybe another time. I forgot we got to take a break, but before we go, any other thoughts you want to share with us?
No, man. Good to have you back, and I'll chat with you another.
Always a pleasure, man.
No problem.
Thank you for welcoming me back. Yeah. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Yeah, man. Thanks, bro.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, bro.
All right, bro. Well, final break, and when we come back, see what shakes. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained entertain, whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid. You will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for sharing. And maybe time for one final call for today. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Yeah, hello. Hi, welcome.
I think I heard you mention the last call for the day.
So you get the final word of the day, right? How are you?
I couldn't have scripted it any better.
Good to hear from you, man.
Obviously, I'm just calling in regards to the current happenings in the halls of Parliament today, where we have a no confidence motion that's being filed by the opposition. And, I was listening to some of the conversations that different members were having in regards to this situation and this thing. And the one thing that stuck out to me and has been sticking out for a very long time, just a matter of us paying attention to what's really going on, right? We always talk about people being duly elected. We always talk about putting trust in our government. These are things that we have on our wishful list, right? That we can, it's wishful thinking that we can depend on certain things. Obviously, the landscape and how certain politics play out in Cayman Islands has been contrary to what we want to see happening. Now, I want to say all of that to say this. Like I said, I had an opportunity to talk to a few members prior to, and even now as it's going on, by way of text and whatnot. And the one thing that sticks out most of all is that everybody's concerned about their own political sovereignty. And it's a bit upsetting and disappointing because I think that we can all collectively agree, as the voting public, the listening public, even to the members of Parliament, is that you are there to represent the people, not yourself. And I heard Sabrina Turner say something just now that kind of, rang home with the sentiments in which I have already, concluded, and is that she said the people of Prospect that elected her hasn't said anything different to her. And I'm saying to myself, Sterling, where do we draw the line and where we allow politicians to constantly speak in regards to only to the people who voted them in, not realizing that we're all living the same island, we all face the same challenges, we all have to buy gas that costs the same amount, pay the high cost for everything. It's not unique to no one constituency. And politicians are constantly reminding us that they're only doing what's in the best interest of the people who voted for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's a very selfish comment, especially made on the floor of the House in the fight for the Premier's life of existence, right? And the only thing she could say is that she only worried about the people in Prospect, and then goes on to say there are people starving, there are people struggling, and there are people that need our help. But yet, this is the same minister and the same Premier that want to borrow money for climate resilience and then want to spend $21 million to put beach sand on a beach for millionaires that we are restricted to go, because when you go down there and you see all these beach accesses that are blocked and you want to put sand on a beach, you want to spend $21 million, you're not worried about the same people you just mentioned starving and struggling. And these are the conflicting things that bother me, man. And we in 2023, we need help. We need to stop talking. And I listened to these debates earlier in the House. I'm frustrated, man. And then this whole debate is for Wayne's political sovereignty. Can you imagine? We in the Cayman Islands are feeling the pain and struggles of cost of living and all of the other issues, and we having a whole day of debate on who can speak the best about their political sovereignty. You know what I mean? Talking about you only worried about the people in Prospect. You only worried about the people in Prospect? Are you serious? We elect you to represent this island, and the only people you worried about is in Prospect?
If I might, though, and as I listen to you, I think many would quickly recognize that your sentiments reflect many, right? But is this part of the challenge that we have, not only in the party system, not only with this one person, one vote, and this chopped up, divided, garrison communities that we are creating, but is it that we are asking the Premier and the ministers of cabinet to serve two masters, in that constitutionally they have their responsibilities under their portfolios, but they also have their constituents to whom they need to be held up to account if they want to be re-elected. With that said, would it be better for us to start exploring whether there's a better system, whether this works versus that, to explore what it would look like if the cabinet, if the Premier, or both or either, were elected nationally, so that their interest could be, as it is, to serve the interests of the country and not any particular thing?
Well, no, I agree, and I think that's a fair question and a fair concern. But I think that this one man, one vote thing has clearly proven not to be the best thing for Cayman. We just further segregated our people and our priorities as politicians and as voters. So now we see a minister, Sabrina Turner, getting up on the floor of the House and passionately speaking about how she's not doing this and she's not moving, and our Premier. But yet, when they went to vote on this pepper spray bill, he was the only one that voted against it, which clearly tells you that there's some issues within cabinet. Now, that may be deemed to be a simple matter at hand, but then we've seen ex-ministers who have illustrated others inconsistencies with a stable government. Now, I'm not saying anything because there's any personal likes and or dislikes of anybody. I'm just simply saying is that there is clear writing on the wall that there is some unstable activity going on within the current government. We had a couple of ministers leave. We had another member leave last week. Regardless of how you view that minister or that member, it doesn't matter, right? The reality is that there is some unstable feelings around the community with our parliament, and that we have already expressed. And in fact, the same minister, Sabrina Turner, who have all voted to have Wayne removed when he refused to remove, he remained. So why are you getting up there with this speech, with this very, overarching overarching speech about how you and the people of Prospect is the only reason why you would leave and that people are starving, but yet you subscribing to a minister that created a ministry, climate resilience. He created a ministry out of thin air, hired all environmentalist people, got every ministry's budget in order to support this, and then went to the far-reaching extent to go to the Foreign Commonwealth Office without Cabinet's approval or consent or knowledge to borrow extra money to extend the FFR required limit to fix climate change. And this is the minister that we are trying to say is the best for the country. Listen, I can tell you what I can tell you about the PPM. Mm-hmm. At least they had a premier that served 2 full terms. So that speaks volumes on how their organization ran, whether we disagree or agree. So I'm not saying we just need to take the best and the worst of both sides, create a government that can hold us down till the next general election, and hopefully by some miracle, new members and new people can put themselves forward so we can get a change in government for the betterment of the Cayman Islands. I heard Chris Saunders say we need to do what the people want. We don't need to do what the people want. We need to do what the people need.
Yeah.
You understand? So
big difference.
I'm so frustrated today to know that we're having this debate, knowing very well that there's an unstable government, but yet you got Sabrina Turner, and I can hear people laughing in the background as if this is some joke. I can hear people, and it sounded like Heather Bodden, laughing in the background when Sabrina said what she said. And I'm saying to myself, well, they think this is a joke? They think this is some joke? People can't afford to feed their children, can't keep the roof over their head because their mortgages has gone sky high, and they can't put food on the table, and they up and they're laughing. They're laughing. They think this some joke thing. This is not a joke thing, Sterling.
Very serious indeed, my friend.
They need to straighten up themselves and come correct, because people of these islands are no longer going to sit back silently and allow them to go in-house and make a mockery of us, because their decisions become our consequences.
Yeah.
Not theirs. So stop voting on what they want. They need to vote on what's in the best interest of the people and what the people want. And the people do not want the current leadership.
Yeah, it's true. You let me ask a question. Right, you made some comments earlier about what many would just quickly discern, maybe internal workings within the government, caucus, cabinet, the things that it would seem everybody knows, but nobody knows for sure. So if the premier did this without approval or consent or knowledge of cabinet, as you have shared, or if these other things have happened relative to the vote, just what if? Do you think that the public has a right to know these things, or if you're in the know, you're in the know, and if you don't know, you don't know?
No, the public knows, and I asked a few ministers,
right,
directly. I asked Bernie Bush. I said, "Did you know about the premier going to ask for money to fix climate change?" No, Mario, I didn't know. I asked Jay. He said he didn't know. Mm-hmm. Those 2 ministers. So regardless if it was 2 or 5 ministers, there is ministers in your cabinet that the Constitution clearly identifies collective responsibility. Yeah. Everybody in your ministry should know.
Right, but let me try to ask you more specifically. When things of that nature, all right, let's say, for instance, the government of the day amongst themselves, the ministers have a vote amongst themselves as to what they should do. Now, those are internal workings. There are things that transpire, even in the so-called caucus and otherwise, that some people know what is happening, some people have a little inkling of what's going on, but generally the wider public, through a proper press release or the like, are not sufficiently or at all informed, or certainly not timely. Do you think, as part of a democracy and transparency and accountability and responsible government and good governance and all the nice little words that we use, do you think that should be part and parcel of public information in a very timely manner so that we know about it?
You know, Sterling, anything that the government do that's supposed to be in the best interest of the people should be public knowledge. Anytime the government or caucus or cabinet or what have you decide that they're going to go into a room and debate something that is going to spend public purse, Caymanian people need to know. You know why? Because whenever they need to find the budgetary requirements to accommodate these appropriated funds, who they turn to? They turn to the people. We're the ones that pay for it, so we need to know what they are doing. Right. Now, when we talk about borrowing $21 million, or not even borrowing, spending $21 million to put sand on a beach that me or you or no other Caymanian got access to, these are the things that I don't think should be high priority or even on the appropriated list. Now, granted, there is debate for every motion that brings to the House. I understand that. I don't have a problem. Due process should take place. But the obvious things where a lady is bathing her children on 7 Mile Beach and depending on people to buy groceries and put gas in her car so she can get to her work, and yet we want to allocate and appropriate money annually to spend money to put sand on a beach that we can't fix the problem. We haven't chosen to even look at what the problem is, and then we want to write off that money as opposed to prioritize it to reinvest in our people. Now I can understand. I can understand if ministers were in there fighting for a good leader. I can understand if they were fighting for good leadership and that the opposition were just filing these motions out of spite. But the writing is on the wall, Sterling. You had the deputy premier who left. You had another minister, John, who left and stated a lot of colorful reasons as to why he left. And the premier has yet to address the public as to whether what John said was true or false. So we have to assume that what he said was correct because the premier did not come in any defense of himself. And then we have McKeever who leave last week, simply illustrating very similar sentiments as John. So listen, I'm not here to say anything other than state the facts.
Right. So,
yeah.
Sorry. If I might, no, thank you. I like your impassioned plea, right? And this is what makes a healthy democracy. Let me just ask two final things in deference to time. One, you are in saying that the public should know what the government's up to, but we just saw this affectionate terms amendment or legislation for secret trials where things in transparency, you don't know what's going on. There were no public meetings, no public consultations, right?
Right.
Do you know the outcome of that particular proposed bill?
No, I don't. And again, these are some of the secrecies and the privacy in which they've been illustrating and demonstrating that bothers me because if we're living in a transparent political environment, then why aren't everything that they're doing in the best interest, or so they claim, isn't it transparent and public knowledge? Because, the funny thing is when they implemented the FOI, Freedom of Information Act, you remember shortly after Alden and them brought it back in and put some restrictions in it to limit your accessibility to the Freedom of Information Act so that certain members or certain sitting ministers weren't affected and their ministries were protected because, there might be an ongoing negotiation where the information is delicate.
Commercially sensitive was the
what would be commercially sensitive when the Cayman Islands and its people and the future generations will be saddled with the responsibility of paying back some of these ridiculous motions and things that they want to bid for. So I'm not saying that we need to have a perfect system, but we could sure as hell try to work towards one.
Getting a better one, right? Yeah, man.
And now I'm sitting down here, and every Caymanian sitting down here, wondering what's going to happen in Parliament now. And then we see weak politicians without any real vision or any real leadership following a leader that has been obviously defunct and debunked, and we see that he don't have any leadership skills. So it doesn't shock me that the weak ones are following him. And that's frustrating, you know what I mean, to get up on a podium on the halls of our parliament and say you only worried about the people of Prospect when you got people in Red Bay, Georgetown, East End, Northside, Sister Islands who starving.
Yeah, man. If you wish, right, because I like good discussion. Let me ask one final question. Given what you just shared, and more directly, I ask, what would you like to see the outcome? I mean, this thing is on the table. Give me your composition.
I would like to see the best and the worst of both sides come together, remove Wayne Pannon as premier or minister, and move this country to the next 14 months before we retire the House for the new election, so that this country could at least have the smallest sliver of confidence that our people can collectively work together for the best interest of the island. It is very, very clear that if the people of these islands had to vote whether Wayne stays or not, he'd be gone. There would be no issues.
Right.
But I would like to see this thing materialize in a way that they can all collectively work together and come to the common ground for the better good.
Right.
That's what we need to see.
And only if you wish, since you put it here, who would you like to see premier? If you were the one to choose, you got 19 there, who would you like to see at the time?
Right now, I would choose the most experienced one. I would put Juliana as premier. You know why? Because she sits on neither side of that table. She's not a PPM, and she's definitely not a PAC member. She came across to help the government accomplish and achieve things from an experience standpoint. So did John. And I would rather see Julia as premier now as opposed to Wayne. Wayne need to come out of government completely. No minister, because he made statements to John that is very concerning to the general public. Oh, I want to get what I need to get done before I remove myself or before I'm gone. And that right there is a very self-serving statement, and that's not in the best interest of our people. Mm-hmm. And as bad as most of them are, Julie has never made any indication that she was selfish or that she would do such a thing. So I would rather see Julie as the premier moving forward. End of story. Wayne can sit on the back bench as an MP and keep checks and balances as other MPs done, and we can live with that.
Yeah, man. Always appreciate you being so forthright and candid. Any closing thoughts, if you want to use it or not?
Is that I want to see Cayman in a better place. Any failing government in Cayman is a failing people, right? Because no matter who the cabinet members are, who the premier is, they're still our government.
Yeah, man,
and now that he has demonstrated the inability to lead properly, he needs to remove himself. And the fact that he has not removed himself after multiple requests, even within his own cabinet, tells us that we have a self-serving individual in a position in which they only want to accomplish their personal needs and wants. And that is not acceptable. So that is the thing. Anyway, I appreciate the call. I appreciate you letting me make the call and say what I had to say. Thank you.
You're most welcome, man. And thank you for sharing. And as a people, as the caller shared, it's about democracy, being championed and preserved, promoted, and protected. And it's about us as a people being engaged, informed, and ensuring that we sit not just at the table, that we have to influence the agenda. And as the caller shared in the gentleman earlier as well. Unity. Let's come together. Well, thank you for this time. Thank you for allowing me and welcoming me back. And as we look forward to Christmas, well, let's remember that in that spirit of celebrating, it's about giving, it's about remembering, it's about sharing the love. Until tomorrow, my friends. Until tomorrow.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report.